Hey guys, welcome back / welcome to my channel. So I'm here today to discuss a pretty neat topic. You're gonna want to listen to this because it is how to get stronger. I lift more weight safely. Okay, so right off the bat, sabihin ko muna yung reasons why you want to be stronger. Because who doesn't? Number one, really ang strengths, particularly absolute slash max strength, ay catalyst ng hypertrophy. Kumbaga, you can argue all you want na hindi siya necessary, which is true. But, there is no denying na having an appreciable base level of absolute strength ay i-enhance tremendously yung iyong muscle building slash hypertrophy goals. Why? Remember, the heavier the weight gets, beginning around 80%, tapos nagki-creep up siya further and further and further, all the way up to 100% wherein absolutely peak to the max na siya. Not that you should go there. The more muscle fibers yung kailangan i-recruit ng nervous system natin in order to move said weight. Obviously, heavier weight, more units slash muscle fibers ang kailangan pagganahin upang paggalawin yung weight. So that said, even though yes, hindi candidate for higher volume ang heavyweight kasi strenuous sila sa nervous system at sa joints and tendons, kung i-include mo sila strategically and periodically sa iyong routine, ang mangyayari nun, malo-learn mo ring mag-recruit ng as much muscle fibers as possible even with lower percentages slash moderate to higher reps. Kasi remember, by themselves, walang real need yung nervous system for a lot of muscle fibers sa less weight, obviously. Pero, if you lift heavy or at some time where they're same workout or separate, guess what? Marunong na yung ating nervous system mag-recruit ng maximum or circa maximum muscle fibers as possible even with less weight. And guess what? That means number one, heavier weight for higher reps means higher potential for muscle growth. That's it. Number two, and don't forget, at the baseline, ang strength along with conditioning or general physical preparedness or cardiovascular fitness, whatever you want to call it, ang base ng physiological attributes. Kumbaga, sure, kailangan mo pa rin matutunan yung specifics. Pero guess what? Ang base ng physical fitness pyramid ay undeniably dalawa. Strength, which is what we're talking about today, and conditioning. We will talk about that in a future video. So, kumbaga sila yung base, sila yung number one na kailangan natin ma-maximize or optimize first and foremost. Everything else, yung power, yung speed, yung agility, will come eventually. Pero remember, a pyramid is only as strong as its base. Number one, build a strong base muna. Strength and endurance. We'll talk about endurance in a future video. Next, being strong, especially kung hindi ka super big or freaking mass monster, is plain simple very empowering. Ain't that right? And holy shit, Ang pagiging mass monster naman likewise ay ngunit um, pagiging weak or at the very least not as strong as you could be based on your appearance ay I'm sorry pero it's humiliating at saka demoralizing. Plus, I don't care how much you insist na, oh, I train for size, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? If you're so big, you ought to be strong. Oh, tangin na ayoko makarinig ng I train for size. Tapos, beach weight lang yung binubuhat mo. That's impossible. Ano yan? Tawag dun, heavy dose of heavy dose of drugs. Oh, so anyway, ano, yung tips na, number one, actually train in the strength rep range. Obviously, heavyweight, low reps, high percentages, ay yung actual na strength rep range is best for strength. Yung nga, like I said, highest muscle fiber recruitment, lowest fatigue, of course, you can and should still get strong for higher reps, sabi ko. Pero, nonetheless, no one can deny optimal ang strength strength rep range mismo. Obviously, for strength. Number two, train more heavy singles, triples, and fives more frequently, albeit without fatigue most of the time. Serious what I mean? Ang strength ay skill, believe it or not. Kumbaga, it takes quite a bit of, learn how to grind or, exert hard. And we all know na ang skill, best na, best learned pagka ginagawa niya sila as frequently as possible, right? But without fatiguing. Therefore, if you want to learn the skill of exerting hard or being strong, you must also train frequently. Kumbaga, once a week is absolutely not enough. Make it twice a week at the bare minimum. Better 3, maybe 4. Any more than 4, hindi necessary. You could kung gusto mo ng very specific na program, pero hindi siya necessary. So yeah, that's that. Alam naman natin How will you better learn a skill? Practicing it once a week or once in a blue moon? Or practicing it 2, 3, 4 times a week? The answer is simple. But, ito pala. Don't push until you experience excessive fatigue. Kumbaga, push hard enough na work while you work out, tsaka ma-experience mo yung adaptations. Pero don't overexert to the point na makaka-experience ka na ng excessive fatigue. Kumbaga kung gusto mo ng legit na rep maxes, 1, 3, 5 rep max, even higher reps like 15 rep maxes, which you see me doing, i-save nyo sila, I would say at most once a week, just because they're really really intensive and stressful. The rest, I still go hard and heavy, pero relatively far from failure pa rin. Ang benefit naman sa higher percentages, even if you don't go to failure necessarily, you still get the benefit of maximum muscle fiber recruitment. kumbaga at around 80 to 90, mataas na yung muscle fiber recruitment. Even if hindi mo siya i-take all the way to failure, malaki pa rin yung yung adaptation sa maating, which doesn't really happen to uh, percentages below 80. Kumbaga yun, which is yun yung disadvantages nung higher reps eh. Isa sa mga disadvantages. Since less yung weight, you really have to go to failure or close to failure para maka-experience nung benefits nila. That's not the case with yung lower end ng rep range, heavier weights. May high to maximum muscle fiber recruitment agad from the get-go. So yeah, that's that. Okay, number 2, kanina, quick frequently without fatiguing. Number 3, get tight. Ito na. Alam niyo yung saying na you cannot you cannot fire a cannon off of a canoe. Ito ibig sabihin nun, pagka i-try mo i-fire yung cannon sa canoe na lumulutang sa tubig, floating on water, the quote is incomplete, mangyayari nun, hindi ka makaka-aim properly because the canoe will shake like shit on water. Same thing with lifting. You cannot lift as much weight as possible for as much reps as possible kung loose and flowing yung katawan mo. Why? Kasi shaking around like a fucking spaghetti. Think of it this way. Pagka maglilift tayo, especially with the intention of lifting as much weight as possible, as safely as possible, dapat tight and rigid yung ating katawan. Like, don't just do this. Look at me, I am doing proper po. Blah, blah, blah. Like this. Hindi ako mapapagalaw. Kumbaga dapat from head to toe, matigas ka, gigil na gigil ka. Parang may tutulak sa'yo, hindi ka mapapatulak sa kanya. Putang ina mo, hindi ako papatulak sa'yo. Tapos, speaking of tightness, master niya yung Valsalva maneuver. For those of you who don't know, ang Valsalva maneuver ay breathing and bracing technique wherein lalanghap ka from the mouth, expounding the belly. Kumbaga ilalagay mo yung air dito. Tapos once na puno na yung belly from all sides with air, tsaka mo siya i-contract hard. Here it is. Along with the cheeks, baga really hard. Baga ang purpose nun, which by the way you see professional lifters do, pero most gym bros have no idea what is it about that. So anyway, the purpose ng Valsalva maneuver, first and foremost, protect the spine from moving excessively, and of course to give your cardiovascular system enough oxygen habang naglilift tayo. Never yung gagawin yung yung regular breathing technique wherein mag-exhale ka lang sa force tapos mag-inhale ka dun sa eccentric or lowering. That's not nearly enough for lifting heavy weights. I mean, sure, okay lang siya sa yung mga small stuff. You don't really need to do that Kasi obviously small lang siya. Cardio, yes, hindi siya kailangan. In fact, I would say detrimental mag-balsal kapag magka-cardio kaya. Pero ano, when talking about yung heavy lifts, especially, though not necessarily kung low reps, basta any exercise wherein heavy yung weight na ma-handle mo sana. Non-negotiable. Kailangan mong gawin yung Valsalva maneuver. Not doing so, one, will compromise the amount of weight you can lift. Ito, no kidding. There is a certain amount of lift na hindi ko mabuhat pagka hindi naka-Valsalva. I would say deadlift or any pulling variation, siguro hirap na ako na walang Valsalva, 200 pounds of nothing pa lang. Hirap na ako. Pero with Valsalva, flies up. Even 300 flies up. See what I'm saying? And most importantly, walang siya, mataas yung risk of injury mo. Unprotected yung spine mo eh. Kasi walang pressure. So yeah, master niya siya. Mahirap siya matutunan, especially sa simula. Pero no na must siya to protect yourself from injury and optimize the and maximize the amount of weight that you can lift safely. Next, bukod dun sa main lifts, also feel free na train heavily yung supplemental slash accessory slash semi-compound lifts. Obviously, hindi lahat. Merong certain lifts na masyadong small or isolation in nature para to train anywhere near the heavy zone. Pero otherwise, things like dips for the triceps and chest, pull-ups, certain rows, certain shrugs, even curls. You see me doing 1 to 5 reps for curls. Ay eligible pa rin for strength training slash heavyweight low reps. Basta ang condition nun, even though hindi sila ganong ka-compound, gaya ng main lifts, appreciable pa rin yung weight na mabubuhat mo para sa kanila. And also, speaking of main lifts, you can choose whatever main lift you like. Kumbaga, don't think na hindi siya bench press, squat, deadlift. Wala kang right na gawin sila for strength or gawin sila main lift. Bullshit. Main lift ko is the overhead press. I don't bench. I sometimes squat. I always deadlift pero hindi ako conventional. Who is gonna hate me? I don't know. And even if they were, I don't give a shit. Ayan. You can choose any exercise you want. Basta sensible siya. Don't be an idiot. Learn proper form. You can lift heavy if you want. Not all. Okay, pangilan na yun. Actual training for strength. Frequently but not to fatigue. Get tight. Bonus Valsalva maneuver. Tapos also train certain semi-compound slash assistants heavily if you desire. 5 sorry sorry 5 lift fast, i.e. with the intention of moving the weight fast. Think of it this way, kung heavy na yung weight, there is no way na gagalaw siya if you're acting upon it slowly. I'm not saying always strive for the way to move faster. Kasi obviously, pag heavy na yung weight, medyo mabagal na yung galaw niya. Pero yung intention mo to move it ay yung tinaguri ang rate of force development mo to it ay dapat as fast as possible. Think it this way. Remember yung 150 one rep max overhead press ko? So, you see it rise up, tapos pagdating dito, really fucking slow siya. Like, hindi naman sobra. I've had uglier grinds, pero, slow na siya here. So, pero, yung actual intention ko sa kanya was really fast. In fact, very fast. Fastest. Kumbaga, if that didn't weigh 150, it would move like this. Well, obviously, heavy siya, so it moved like this. Do you think mapapagalaw ko siya ni 1 goddamn inch kung yung intention ko sa kanya ganito? Absolutely not. So, yeah, yun din yung isa sa mga pet peeves ko sa bodybuilding programs. Yung tinuturuan nila tayo to move slow and deliberate, which is fine for lifting bitch weight, pero that's absolutely not gonna cut it kung gusto mo makalift ng as much weight as possible. And we all know now, things equal, heavy weight is superior to lightweight. Not that you should go too heavy na your form looks like shit and you're snapping your shit up. That's not what I mean. Don't misquote me. Tapos bonus pala, in relation to the whole lift fasting, tsaka how bodybuilders train like shit. Remember the whole lifting weights is bad for athletes at saka fighters myth? Well, yeah, that's a myth, pero they kinda have a point. Ano kasi una, when we say lifting is bad, what we should particularly say is lifting like bodybuilders following bodybuilding programs is bad. Una, di ba nga, bodybuilders train slow and deliberate. Guess what? Walang sport or martial art outside of Tai Chi and other endurance sports na slow and deliberate. Lahat sila intervals of fast and very fast motions. Which is why you should not train like goddamn bodybuilders. On top of that, ang bodybuilding programs ay body part splits. Guess what? In the real world, in sport, you don't move your body one part at a time. You move it in conjunction with other. You move it as a whole, one body part in conjunction with others. Yan yung reason bakit ayoko ng bodybuilding splits. Gusto ko full body workouts. I will talk about that soon. But yeah, that's that. So, ang conclusion doon, it is a myth, but it does have a point kasi some athletes and fighters train like bodybuilders, which is a huge mistake. Instead, ang athletes at saka fighters should train like strength athletes. Train for absolute strength. Tapos add on top of that power at speed. Not like this 2 seconds of 3 seconds of bullshit. Be controlled pero be forceful and explosive. Yeah, that's that. That's a myth. But it can be true if you train like goddamn bodybuilders. So if you're an athlete or a fighter, don't lift like a bodybuilder. That will fuck up your performance, I promise. Lift like strength athletes. Okay, so next. Kailan na yan? Mamaya, I'll talk later. So yeah, mentos I shot on the bodybuilding world. I was, naman, for this next tip, I will give them praise naman. Next, build up your weaknesses slash weak points slash lagging areas. Think of it this way. Almost everyone na nagde-deadlift complains na una nag-give out yung kanilang lower back. Sabihin nun, weak your lower back mo. What should you do then? Isolate slash directly work your lower back with stiff leg deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts pwede. But that's not too specific. Yeah, pwede. Stiff leg Romanian, back extension, reverse hyperextension, even yung pinapakita ko sa inyo, flexion shrug. That's excellent for the lower back din. Bukod sa traps and upper back. So yeah, if you find na may certain muscles na unang bumibigay sa main lift, especially kung hindi siya yung prime mover, work it. Believe it or not, hindi prime mover ang lower back sa deadlift. Stabilizer lang siya. Therefore, hindi siya dapat unang nag-give out when you are lifting. Believe it or not, when I deadlift or do any deadlifting variation, assuming na hindi ako magpa-fatigue masyado, hindi ko ipupush masyado yung sarili ko to excessive fatigue, too much weight, too much volume, wala akong nararamdamang soreness sa lower back ko whatsoever. You wanna know what's sore? Yung lats ko at saka yung traps ko, tsaka yung hamstrings ko. A little bit of glutes and quads, pero yung lower back wala halos. Why? Kasi hindi weak point yung lower back ko. Kasi ina-isolate slash more directly work ko parati yung lower back ko. Yes, that sounds weird pero yeah, it's true. Hindi limiting factor yung lower back ko sa pulls. Mas limiting factor pa yung lats ko. Because my lower back is strong. That's why if you hindi ko siya mapapakita eh. If you look at my back, hindi maganda yung lighting. Pero if you look at my back, my mid-lower back area is very thick. Makapal at malaki yung lower back muscles ko. That's why it doesn't give out easily sa pulls. Tapos sa pressing, weakness ko, triceps. Lock out. Weak ako sa lock out. So that's why I always do a lot of dips, a lot of extensions, all that good shit. So yeah, that's where bodybuilding gets merits. Working on your weak points. Kasi you will not strengthen your main lifts hanggat di mo na strengthen first yung weak points mo. Especially as you advance. If you're a beginner, don't even think about this. You're weak as a whole. Strengthen your body as a whole. Tapos worry about your weak points later. Pero yeah, absolutely true yun later down the line. So yeah, next. Rest enough without necessarily slacking. Here's what I mean. Obviously, heavier weights, even for high reps, mas intensive and stressful siya sa system natin. Therefore, mas matagal na recovery period yung ating kailangan kaysa sa lightweight. I mean, think of it this way. Gawa kayo ng sets of 5, kahit 3 lang sa deadlift or a deadlift variation, kahit hindi to failure, kahit may 1 to 3 reps in the tangka pa, quite exhausted yung pakiramdam mo. Even though hindi mo siya hinit to failure, right? So, that said, kailangan mo ng enough rest to be as recovered as possible for the next coming sets. Kasi if not, I'm sorry, hindi mo maduduplicate yung performance mo. Hindi ka na makaka 3 or 5 ulit. Whereas, sa mga small stuff like, yung mga concentration curls, well, of course, given. Ang low stress lang nila. You can cut the rest way short. Pero sa heavy stuff, no, never do that. Siya, stupid and idiotic siya. Only cut the rest on the smallest, least intensive and stressful exercises. I'm not saying na tumambay lang tayo at saka mag-slack off completely, Pero kumbaga, don't sweat the whole keep the heart rate up bullshit. Tsaka, give your body enough time to recover. Kasi if you don't, you might overreach, you might under-recover. That's the last thing you want. Okay. 5, naka 6 na tayo. 7. Ito hindi to mandatory pero based lang to sa aking anecdote. In terms of yung structure ng program nyo, i-place nyo yung least/less overall stressful lifts towards the beginning. Tapos, and the middle. Tapos yung mga more to most stressful lifts towards the middle end na. Why? Here's the thing. Ang non-intensive lift, even if you take it to fatigue, wala siyang effect whatsoever, or kung meron man, little lang, sa intensive lift. But, ang intensive lift, taken even just shy of fatigue, hindi full fatigue, will take away your performance sa non-intensive lift. Ito ibig sabihin ko. We all know na yung best effort natin na lalagay natin sa beginning of the workout, right? Which makes it tempting to place the most intensive exercises dun sa beginning. Pero ito yung drawback nun. Why you may not want to do that. Pagka exhausted na tayo dun sa most exhausting/intensive lifts natin, chances are wala na tayo energy to optimize yung performance natin for the other lifts, even though less intensive sila in nature. See what I'm saying? Whereas, if we start off with the less intensive lifts, sure, we can push them pretty hard. Pero wala silang mababawas whatsoever dun sa most intensive. Think of it this way. Ngayon na practical example. I always start with overhead press. Kasi, siya, bang for buck siya, yet relatively non-intensive siya. Kumbaga, hindi niya aapektuhan yung legs at saka yung back ko in any way. Tapos, after noon, I follow with something like, a dip. Either yung for triceps or for chest. Tapos, a curl. So, relatively non-intensive lifts. And then, once na done na yan, tsaka ako gagawin yung deadlifting variation. So, kaya ko linalagay yung deadlifting variation towards the end or banda near end. Kasi if I place it right at the beginning, chances are uubusin nila yung energy ko for the rest of the workout. Kumbaga, simply put, wala na akong gana para sa ibang exercises, even though smaller na lang sila. Whereas, kung yung other less intensive stuff like dips, curls, unahin ko. Even if I push myself really, really fucking hard sa kanila, they will not affect my pulling performance whatsoever. See my point? Of course, if you find na mas gusto nyo talaga yung most intensive lifts, that's fine. Pero based on experience, less intensive to more intensive is better. Tapos 8, optimize recovery as much as kaya natin. So alam naman natin to lahat eh. Hindi ko to i-expound masyado. Outside the gym, rest and relax as much as kaya mo. Sleep no less than 7 hours. I would have to say even make it 9 kung medyo hard yung workout slash games mo. I heard some athletes sleep up to 10. Might not need that. It's possible. Tapos, eat enough. Stop it with the whole, I want to see my abs all the time. Bullshit. Fuck your abs. Being stronger is more awesome. Not that you should lose them completely, pero wag kayong mag-obsess sa kanila. Tapos, meditate, breathe deep, get massages. Basta, give yourself as much of an edge as possible sa recovery. Kasi doon tayo nagkakatali. Especially kung natural ka. Next, 9. Related siya dun sa whole recovery thing. And remember yung sabi ko kanina, maximize your conditioning slash general physical preparedness slash cardiovascular fitness. So, anong connection nun? Diba nga, neck and neck ang strength at conditioning sa bilang base ng physical performance. So, anong connection ng conditioning? Sound level of conditioning sa optimizing strength. It's simple actually. I-enhance niya yung recovery mo. In between sets, exercises, and workouts. Think of it this way. Tsaka i-increase niya yung work capacity mo. I-increase niya yung total volume na kaya mo in one given session before things turn excessive at saka kailangan mo ng mag-back out. Think of it this way. The more fit you are, the stronger your heart and lungs are. The more sets and reps mo magagawa with heavier weight. Kasi anybody can do a lot of sets and reps, pero it takes a really solid level of fitness, cardiovascular fitness, to finish an exercise with lots of sets and reps with a heavy weight. So yeah, that's why I say na neck and neck sila. Plus, sino naman I mean, do your own thing, pero sino naman gusto maging high level powerlifter na hingal umakyat ng hagdan? That doesn't make sense. You want to be strong, you also want to be fit. Being fit will tremendously enhance your strength. Okay, tapos ito, mostly psychological lang to. It makes sense. As I always say, never doubt yourself.